It's turtle time, boys. That's right. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are actually coming to Raid, guys. I know that there have been rumors of this. People have leaked it, unfortunately, but you know what? It is officially true. They are coming, and holy smokes, I am so unbelievably excited. When you talk about the absolute all-time best collabs that Raid has ever done, this is at the tippity top of the mountain for your boy. I am so stoked that they actually landed this collab. I mean, Raid has done a lot of interesting collabs over the years, right? They've done Ronda Rousey, they've done Ninja, they've done stuff like Alice in Wonderland and Chaos Awakes and Monster Hunter. But without a doubt, this is the coolest they've ever done. Because if you're anything like me, a child of the 80s and 90s, or born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's your childhood, man. That's your freaking childhood. So let me know in the comments down below before I get any further into this video if you're excited for this collab, if you're going to absolutely go ham. This is very much a collab where I'm like, you know what, Polarium? Take my money. Take my money, bro. Well done. And the turtles just look sick, guys. I mean, look at these beasts. They look freaking fantastic. The key artwork for this looks awesome. You got April here, you can see as well. Just unbelievable. Oh, April looking delicious in that incredible yellow, normally raincoat is what I think. But yeah, this is definitely you know, something that works. And then we've also got Shredder, guys. So the 6 champions are going to be the 4 turtles: Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, and then you get April and you get Shredder. Now, I do want to let you know, I believe these are limited time things. So if you remember the Monster Hunter collab back in the day, this is going to be similar to that, where you can only get these champions in a limited window of time. At least that's my understanding. Obviously, once you have them, you get to keep them for forever, but you only get a small time to get them. So that could be a little tough, especially with how shard events have gone recently. So I'm really hoping that they make these champions accessible, because frankly, who doesn't want to have every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? I mean, I certainly do. So we're going to take a look at all the cool stuff. Let's take a look at the artwork first and foremost. I mean, Leonardo looking incredible, looking fierce. Raphael, again, with the size, looking like a total badass. Donatello, he's got the stick. He's ready to dominate. And of course, Michelangelo. And Michelangelo, by the way, going to be the champion you get for the free login. So everybody gets a Michelangelo just for logging into the game. They've got the Michelangelo chase like they normally do. And so we'll take a look at that. Shredder, by the way, look at how sick Shredder looks. Oh my God. I'm going to have to do a cosplay of one of these guys when I return to streaming, by the way. So if you want me to do a Shredder cosplay or an April cosplay or a Turtle cosplay, let me know in the comments down below what you'd most like to see. Maybe I'll do a poll in the community, and whenever I'm able to return to streaming, I will pick one of these things to do. We'll add it to the list. There are a couple cosplays I still owe you guys, so that will happen at some point. But at this, I mean, April, look at how fierce. My God, I would work this so good. I would look so good in this cosplay, boys. But anyway, let's take a look at the Michelangelo chase. So you see here, it's the normal chase style. You log in, you get cool stuff. He's spinning his nunchucks around. He's an attack-based champion. And then also in the phase 2 stuff, you get his soul. So you can see there, they give him away some goodies, and they're also giving a 5-star soul. Not bad. We'll take it. We'll take it. Pretty normal stuff. I'm going to go into their skills in a little bit, because I'll be honest with you, I was 75% done recording this video and my entire setup crashed and I lost everything. And that was including like 10 minutes of reading all their skills. So I don't know if I'm going to read them all, but we'll go into them in a second. Before we do that though, I just want to show you some of the cool stuff. So Shredder is actually going to be the event dungeon boss, which is so sick. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Very cool that he's going to be the event dungeon boss. Although not sure how I feel about the set that comes with this. We'll look at that in a second. There are also exclusive avatar frames you can see here. So you can get a Shredder frame, you can get these other frames in game. And then if you get every character, you get a golden pizza slice icon. So I will definitely be aiming to take a bite of pizza with this collab. That is for sure. And then each turtle gets its own unique background, or not unique, but it gets a sewer background when you summon them, or when you look at them, I should say, in your champion collection. So that's pretty cool too. A little small thing there. And then, of course, this is the new set that's coming. A lot of people have already covered this. I don't think it's that good, to be completely honest with you. I think it's just okay. But who knows what content they'll introduce that this might come in handy. And maybe I'm underestimating it for PvP, things of that nature. So by all means, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And then, of course, there are new relics coming as well. So lots of relics, some mythical relics that look absolutely broken. Specifically, this, where is it? Zibia's Servitude that potentially prevents somebody from landing critical hits on you, which is pretty insane. It'll be interesting to see how this works with the Death Dealer, I think relic it is, that always crits, given that you can't be crit if your HP is below a certain threshold. This could be a really game-changing relic. And then also the Mask of Disquiet, the fact that you have a chance to get an instant turn when you pop out a sheep, depending on how this works, this could be really insane. I talked a little bit about this on a video I did with Ash today. So if you want to see more commentary on that, make sure to go check out his channel, because we talked a little bit about these relics at the time of the recording. But yeah, cool that they're bringing a lot more stuff. Let's look at the actual skill kits here, though. Again, the graphics look incredible. The character design looks incredible. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't believe they actually got it, which is just insane. But Michelangelo, his kit looks decent. Kind of a little interesting that he's attack. I believe he's a barbarian, if I remember correctly. Let me take a look at the document that tells me here. I believe he is a barbarian. It tells what everyone is. Yes. So Michelangelo is a Bannerlord, excuse me. Bannerlord, legendary spirit attack. You can see a lot of different factions here for the Turtles and for April. So they're not all Lizardmen, right? I thought for sure all of them would be Lizardmen, but that would probably make it super unbalanced. So I understand why they've spread them out here instead of it all being in one faction. So you've got Barbarians, you've got Lizardmen, you got Sacred Order, Shadowkin, 2 Shadowkin actually here with Shredder as well. But let's go back to the skills. So Michelangelo, interesting kit, right? He's an attack-based champion, but he has a taunt, actually. So he actually has a taunt. Where is it? I'm pretty sure. Did I just make this up? Yeah, it places a taunt buff on this champion. I was like, I'm pretty sure he has a taunt. You can see it here. Hopefully you can read this, but he places a taunt on himself on his A3, even though he's attack-based, but then he has the Loki type thing of being able to evade. So he gets up to a 30% chance to evade. And one of the cool things about the Turtles is whenever any of them attack, the other turtles join in with them. So every turtle attacks when another turtle attacks. So this could be really interesting for PvE based combat. If you have all 4 turtles on a team and they all just start wailing on a boss or wailing on Hydra or things like that, really, really, really interesting. It obviously depends on their multipliers and how they synergize together, but kind of a cool passive there. His kit, like I said, his kit is just decent. I don't think it's incredible by any stretch of the imagination. He does do decreased defense. He does place a stun and debuff spread. So there could be some cool things here. But it's not like, it doesn't read as a game-changing champion for me. Let's take a look at Leonardo. He is Void, defense, Shadowkin. So we do have a Void here. He's also, I believe, the Unity Turtle, because he has the TMNT Unity thing here. So I guess there is a Unity Turtle, guys, which God only knows how hard it's going to be to get this freaking turtle, especially coming off of the FINA video, where I basically was like, never again. Well, now they introduced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, maybe again, maybe. Depends on what events they do, because this will be, I really don't want to try to get champions on shards, although Void does make this a little bit easier because there are less Void champions overall, so that's good. But you've got an A1, counterattacking will repeat this attack against an enemy. It's a 2-hitter, ignores some defense, stacking up to 15% for every buff on the champion, so that's pretty cool. Places an increased defense buff, places an ally protection buff, places an unkillable buff and a counterattack. And then he also can attack all enemies, and then damage inflicted increases for each buff on. And then also he strips all buffs if he kills someone, and it cannot be resisted. And then if you get more turtles on the team, he ignores way more defense. So he could be smacking, guys. He could be smacking with this Turtles Together skill. Speaking of which, they all have incredible names for their abilities. New York Slice, Shell, yeah, Turtles Together. Then we've got, what is this? Shell Cyclone, Express Delivery, Booyah. A very Michelangelo type sound there. And then also his like Leonardo's Unity thing here too. He increases the damage dealt by his skill in proportion to this champion's missing HP. So that's going to be interesting to see how that functions. And also activates whenever an ally's HP drops below 50%. If you have 3 turtles on your team. So that could be pretty nasty, depending on what the multiplyer's in. Oh, and he gets a stone skin buff on him every time his HP drops below 50%, occurring once per skill. Yeah, kind of a cool kit here. Raphael, another attack. He's Force Affinity. if he gets Berserk, he's able to go through block damage. If he puts Berserk on himself, he has a 20% chance of granting an extra turn, which is pretty sick. I mean, this champion sounds like he could be really good for PvP, especially because he has a block revive in his A1, depending on how that hits. And again, he is ignoring shield and block damage if under Berserk. So kind of specific. This is a champion that might make sense for something like a Chrono Cube, because you could hypothetically lead with his A3, which places a Berserk on himself if he doesn't kill anyone. And then you could go right into this A2 and ignore shields and block damage when you're attacking under Berserk. So it's interesting. I wonder if they'll ever introduce a set that just gives you Berserk. I could see that really being powerful for a champion like this. So I don't know if he's specifically meta for PvP. Depends on the multipliers. Kind of a tricky setup with a Berserk, debuff. Very, very, very specific in that regard. So we'll have to see how it works. But interesting kit all the same. Magic support for Donatello. His kit's actually pretty legit. He's got an A1 that heals by the max HP of him. He instantly activates continuous heals. He can attack everyone and then decrease allies' skill cooldown, which is pretty sick, as well as placing an increased speed. And then he can also cleanse. So he's a cleanser who puts out continuous heal buffs and strengthen and gets a turn meter fill. And again, he still attacks with every other turtle like they all do. And then also he can keep people alive when they receive a fatal hit. So pretty badass support, I think, skill set here for Donatello. Again, I don't think it's like game breaking, meta changing, stuff like that, but pretty good overall. April also support. She's Sacred Order. Donatello, by the way, was the one Lizardmen. And then Raphael was Barbarians. And of course, Shadowkin for Leonardo. April also support Magic, Sacred Order. She gets like 70 different debuffs she can choose from here on the A1. So that's kind of interesting. That might land on a target. She really is all about turn meter decrease. If you look at her kit, it's all about decreasing people's turn meter. And then also she gets a Nullify debuff, which is a new debuff coming into this game. So let's take a quick look here. So Champion Fragment for Donatello, by the way. So he is the fusion. Michelangelo is the free. Donatello is the fusion. And then the rest are ones you're going to have to summon or do other stuff. But the Nullify debuff basically means a champion under Nullify cannot have their skills activated, participate in ally attacks, be granted an extra turn, or an extra turn, have their skills cooldown decreased, have their shields value increased, have their destroyed HP restored, have their HP swapped, evade enemy. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can't get if you're under a Nullify debuff. So she does Nullify, the first champion in the game to do that. She steals 100% of target's turn meter. And what's interesting is she has a 25% chance of activating this ability anytime an enemy gets an extra or instant turn. So you think about champions like Nice, you think about champions like Shuzen that put out instant turns. Instant turn, one of the most impactful things in this game. April could hypothetically counter it. Now, it's only 50% when booked up, so it's not a guarantee, which still makes her a little dicey, but still could be interesting for certain champions when you're going against her with this ability to steal turn meter and steal buffs. And then again, place that Nullify debuff. And then this passive effect is too long for me to read, but basically it does a whole bunch of stuff. Like it teams up and, it does something. Like I can't even read. It's too much to read, frankly. Read it on your own. But whenever enemies remove, transfer, decrease the duration of any debuffs to 0, decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 25%. So she is a lot about turn meter decrease, but in the current meta with Stoneskin, I don't know how impactful that's going to be. And then we've got Shredder, the event dungeon boss, Shadowkin Void HP. I'm bummed there's no Splinter. I can't lie. I really wish they would have had Splinter in there as well. But hey, Shredder is incredible. You can't go wrong with Shredder. So I know why they put him in there. It would have probably been a toss-up between April and Splinter. Would you have rather had Splinter? I think I probably would have, as much as I love April. But A1, he's a triple hitter. He's ignoring defense and getting additional crit damage. He has a double hitting AoE on the A2, which destroys enemy defense as well as increases his own max HP. Also places a leech, which is pretty interesting. And then he's got an AoE on the A3. Attacking on enemies before attacking steals all buffs from a single target enemy. This effect cannot be resisted. He's under a veil or perfect veil. Fills his champion turn meter by 15% for each buff stolen. So this could be essentially a extra turn mechanic here. And then ignores 15% of each enemy's defense as well as shield and block damage buffs. So big. This champion is under a veil will ignore 30% of each enemy's defense. So he by far has the best kit based off of what I've read so far. Like, I think he probably is the best. Surprise, surprise. And then he's got a passive effect of decreasing all incoming damage by 30% and splitting it equally among all allies, and then increases this champion's damage dealt by 15% for each dead ally. And then active effect, whenever he loses 20% or more of his HP in one attack, has a 100% chance to evade the next attack. When this guaranteed effect activates, places a perfect veil for 2 turns and has a 50% chance of placing a true fear debuff on all enemies that cannot be resisted. Yeah, without a doubt, the best champion out of what I have read kit-wise. I think he is the one that is going to be something you might see in Arena. These double AoEs sound absolutely disgusting, especially like this is true ninjutsu, which sounds incredible. Could be really, really, really good. So I could definitely see him getting play in PvP more than any of the others. But again, we'll have to see how they actually hit and what their multipliers are. All things considered, though, guys, for me, this is the definition of a slam dunk. You know, I hope the champions are good when we actually get our hands on them, assuming we can get our hands on them, of course. But just such a cool collab to be coming to the game. I mean, literally top of my list of stuff I would have liked to have seen, and they actually did it. So kudos to Plarium. Thank you for bringing a cool collab to the game. Man, what a week for Plarium. I'm gonna have to do a video on that by itself. This has been overall one of the better weeks that I can remember in Raid since I started playing. Just a lot of positive things coming out this week. And certainly this is the creme de la creme, the icing or cherry on top of the good news. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually coming to Raid. So freaking sick. So guys, let me know in the comments down below. Are you as excited for this as I am? Is this like right up your alley the way it is for me? Are you going to try to get all these turtles? You know, we'll have to see. Hopefully it's not too hard. Fingers crossed that they have some reasonable summon events for this stuff. Obviously, everybody gets Michelangelo and you can fuse Donatello, which is great, but I'm just hoping that the other 4 are not too hard to get, because I'll tell you what, man, I really want to get this pizza slice. It just, you know, what can you say? I'm a big fan of pizza, right, boys? So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Cowabunga! I'm Big Papa Drock, and I'm out.